home and laid down to sleep. That began the nightmare on my street.
Here's the thing about Dream Master and Dream Child. Freddy is getting more and more entertaining, and the movies are getting less and less entertaining.
That's fantastic. That's a really good way of putting it. That's a really good way. No, you're right. You're right. That's a very good way of putting it. Yeah. It's basically the Ewok Christmas special. Welcome to Buzzn The Tower, a podcast dedicated to the movies of the 1980s. Our mission is to take you on a most excellent adventure through time. Buzzn The Tower is so much more than a podcast. It's the map to One-Eyed Willie's treasure. And all you have to do is sit back, listen, and repeat after me. Klaatu! Barata! Buzzn The Tower answers the questions you didn't even know you had. Like who would win in a fight, John Rambo or Hans Gruber? Or who is dreamier, Jake Ryan or Marty McFly? So as we rank, debate, and offer fresh takes of the best from 80s cinema, please remember, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and listen to a podcast once in a while, you could miss it. Don't forget to subscribe to Buzzn The Tower on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. For bonus content, you can find us on all social media channels by searching our handle at Buzzn The Tower. For more podcasts, information, or to contact us with topics you'd like us to talk about, visit our website, buzznthetower.com. That's BUZZN, thetower.com. Buzzn The Tower is brought to you by Verde Media. Max, I couldn't be happier with the way our website looks.
So good.
Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to take a look at our website yet, you need to right away. These guys, website development, online marketing, they are outstanding. Am I exaggerating at all?
It is so choice. If you have the means, I highly recommend having them build you one.
I love it. I love it. Look, they're the best of the best. And working with John, their owner, a self-admitted 80s martial arts movie nerd, was an absolute joy.
Is that why you said the best of the best?
That is why I said. Yeah. That was a tip of the hat to John. They're more than our sponsor. They're our partner. And if you are looking to build a website, they are the group to go to. Find their link on our website and check them out, Verde Media.
Today's episode, Nightmare on Elm Street 4 through 7. The only thing to fear is fear himself. Freddy Krueger made the 80s a scarier place, and we're so glad he did it. On today's episode of Buzzn The Tower, we jump into part 2 of our Krueger box set review with our good friend Caleb. I'm Max Sanders, and joining me as always, the red and green sweater to my severely burned torso, Mo Shapiro. And with that, welcome to my nightmare! Well, look who's introing the show for the first time ever. It's Max! I'm by myself in the studio. Feels really strange. To make myself feel more comfortable, I took my pants off and did the risky business thing. I got my Ray-Bans on. I did a little dance before this. I feel calmer now. But unfortunately, Mo is not here right now. Despite being already vaccinated, the Delta variant has infected Mo and his family, wishing them a speedy recovery. I brought them soup. No, I didn't, but I will. On the way home, I'll just drop it. I'll throw it from the car or something like that. But wishing you guys a speedy recovery. Love you, Mo. And everyone, just stay safe out there. And I'm so excited to be introing this because Freddy Krueger movies freaked me out. I mean, horror movies in general, if you've listened to the show before, I'm a big scaredy cat. Haven't watched any horror movies. And I had to watch all of them for the show. And these movies really kind of became enjoyable to me. And now I kind of identify with them. I love them all. They're super fun. And we got to talk with Caleb, who has an incredible podcast, Horror Soup, where he talks about horror movies. And the Scream podcast, too, which he's on, is fantastic. He's just a horror aficionado, expert, guru, black belt, all those good things. So talking to him, learning about Freddy, and also kind of getting over my own fears was really a fun time. So I'm just so glad I got to finally intro an episode that meant something to me. We'll get right into that in a second. But first, I just want to tell you guys, keep checking out our social media, Buzzn The Tower, Instagram. We're about to hit 10,000 followers. Woo! Big deal. It's very cool. And on TikTok, we have these Buzzn The Tower flybys. If you like or comment on them, you get entered to win a $50 gift card to 80stees.com, the best website ever. I'm wearing one of the shirts right now. I'm wearing my Predator one. I just feel really cool. I mean, I said I was wearing the risky business thing, but I lied. I'm just wearing normal stuff. Although it is hot in here. There was flooding in our office and there's all these fans going. I had to turn the fans off for a second and now I'm all sweaty. But I'd probably be sweaty anyways because being by yourself on a pod is scary. Mo had to use all the sound effects. I'm so proud I'm not using the sound effects because that's kind of my Achilles heel. And I always liked the quick laugh. And Mo had to resort to him. Guess what? I didn't. He's probably going to release the 7 takes I did before this. I'm already on minute 8.5, give or take, of just doing the intro. So he might release those just to embarrass me, but bring it on. I can handle it. If it makes someone out there laugh, then let's do it. But let's not talk about laughter. Although the Freddy Krueger movies are pretty funny too. I mean, Freddy's got some great one-liners. It's prime time is one of my favorites. But let's talk about the horror. Let's get into it and let's get into the episode.
Go. I don't know if we even mentioned this exactly. I mean, I think people might have picked up on context clues by now. But what is happening, and the reason we're going through all of these is that we literally watched all 7 in a matter of a few days, or 8, depending on who you are.
Yeah. We committed to the I Have No Life Club the last 2 weeks. It was pretty cool.
We did probably the worst job in podcast history of explaining what we were doing.
Well, to be totally fair, it doesn't take a whole lot to understand what we're doing. As we're saying, let's move from number 1 to number 2. It's not.
I mean the first 35 minutes of this podcast.
Whatever. So critical.
It's great.
I didn't feel the need to say it, but I also did, just for that one person to be like, "You guys didn't explain what was going on. I was lost for an hour, 15 minutes." Now I could just say no.
Send that person over to my Instagram wall and tell them to leave their address. We'll take care of it. Don't worry.
Did you say Instagram wall? This isn't Facebook.
Yeah.
You
I'm 100
man.
years old, dude. It's cool. Well, they're gonna.
One of us runs social media.
We're gonna tick the talk. Don't worry about it.
The other one chimes in once a week when he's entertained by a conversation.
It's true. God, it's so true.
Wait, that is so true. What was that conversation that we had the other day? I've only spoke to Max on Instagram, and then you popped in for something absurd. Oh wait,
Yeah.
I know what it was. And it's what we're gonna get to in a little bit.
Oh yes,
I don't know what it is.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I got social media taken care of.
Teaser
On the tick and the
Okay,
talk.
yeah, you can handle it. Here.
Don't make me Instagram you.
Okay, guys. So for Dream Master, I just have to
Dream
preface
Master.
this by saying, and this isn't even just my preface. This is my whole entire statement. I
Okay.
watched the entirety of Dream Master, and not only did I watch the entirety of Dream Master, I watched 75% of it again right before we got on this recording. And not only do I not remember what happened, but I also have no clue how I feel about it. And that's also kind of a good segue into how I feel about Dream Child. They're one and the same.
Come on, Dream Child?
Dude,
That's so terrifying that your unborn child has nightmares? That's terrifying.
Can we just skip Dream Master completely? And can you just tell me why you have anything good to say about Dream Child?
I will address this in the same vein.
Dream Child's the worst one.
It is, but here's the thing.
I
with
think Dream Master might be the worst one. I don't even remember. I literally don't remember it, and I watched it more than any of the other ones.
The only redemption. Okay, here's what they did. This is what I think they did. The only redemption.
Let's just talk about these two together.
Fair enough. So Dream Warriors is released in 87. Dream Master is released in 88. I think what happened is Dream Warriors pops out and everybody sees it and they get the same reaction that we just talked about, which is where they love this expansive universe where you can have superpowers and the
ragtag group of team.
And
of
they're like,
teenagers.
you know what? Let's play on that. Let's make a whole Dream series where we really deep dive into that. But then they're like, hey, let's do nothing with it.
No, but they parlay that. They parlay that into Alice getting the skills of the people that die, so that she can use nunchucks and she can do. So it was a failed attempt. I agree with you. It's not good, but I understand. At least I understand. It's not like Freddy's Revenge where we have no idea why it was called that. Like I at least understand what they were trying to do, which is take some of the elements that made the previous one so good and parlay it into the next one. Dream Child, keeping in the theme of clumping these all together.
What a terrible child.
Yeah, Dream Child, the only part of that I love, and I do love one part of it. I love the introduction and interweaving of Freddy's mom. Like I do think that whole thing is pretty wild, right? Like
but, okay, the reason I don't like that is because the mom has already been introduced and her introduction was already the most grandeur of all introductions in the most disgusting way possible. And
yeah, I agree with
felt
that.
like I didn't need more deep diving on that. I felt like their first explanation of Freddy's mother and her backstory, I'm like, oh my god,
That's
yeah,
terrible.
that's enough.
Yeah.
That's fine. I get it. I understand why he is the way he is.
See, psych
I didn't need
wards
more.
and monasteries and old churches, that element terrifies me. You know,
Really?
Yeah, I find that like the little bit of me from The Exorcist, like anything having to do with like a religious undertone in a horror film is just, even if it's light, like, I mean, there's not a ton of religious undertone to this other than she was a nun at a psych ward, but it just is enough to do it for me.
Well, here's the thing I really hate about it. Like, there's a thing you can do with mothers in horror movie, and you can use them as a good character and a good plot point or something, but once you get rid of it, I feel like you either need to get rid of it or maybe use it as a memory of sorts. And what they did on this is they made her like a character that can absorb Freddy and do stuff like that, and I think that's the dumbest thing ever. Like, okay, you have Jason, where he has his mother. She's the main character of the first Friday
Much
the 13th
more pivotal
movie.
role, yeah.
And then she gets killed, and now he's like, you know, he's just a big dumb dude walking around. So now when people like imitate his mother, he's like, "Oh, mom, oh, you're there." I'm like, okay, I believe that he's a big dumb creature. But in this, the mom's just popping around. Is like, "Oh, I allowed Freddy to still be in this world." I'm like, no, you didn't. Like, you birthed a terrible child. He went and did terrible things, but now he like got set on fire and his soul went into this demon world, and now he's like invading people's dreams. You have nothing to do with that, Mom.
Right.
You are not
I get
involved
your
with
point.
this.
That's
Like,
fair.
you shouldn't be a part of the story whatsoever. I don't need you here.
I wouldn't put up a big fight that these two are drunk. I don't think they're like unforgivable drunk, but I wouldn't fight hard on it.
So I got two defenses of this because I actually like these two a lot. These are really fun to me. But maybe at this point I was into them and I was like, it's just kind of melding together.
Sure.
But the grossest death and the most fun death and the one that haunts me and it's only going to haunt me through all of these is in Dream Master. It's Debbie's death.
The cockroach?
Yeah.
Yeah, the cockroach death
It's
is
freaking
foul.
gross.
It's foul. The broken elbows.
Oh
and
my God, with the weightlifting when her
are
arms go all wonky.
I agree.
And Freddy's spotting her.
It's vile.
And then
It's
the
vile.
arms come out and you're like, what is going on?
Although the overfeeding death is really terrible too. That
That's the
grosses
fifth.
me out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was just going to cut it, and I was going to say the one thing that I liked out of these two was the feeding death in Dream
Yeah.
Child. It's just the grossest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's
And
so
also,
gross.
It's so gross.
not only is that like gross and insane, but I also do really enjoy seeing Freddy wearing that giant, obnoxious white chef hat.
that is really good.
He really was all in. I mean,
Yeah.
like, you have to like love about his characters is just like unforgivingly all in on all those kind of things, you know?
I thought the motorcycle morph
Yeah.
was kind of cool too.
Yeah.
That was kind of gnarly.
And
the
there
way they
was-
do...
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
And there was some good body horror going on in these ones too. Like, I feel like these were the ones that was really starting to solidify that the series was going to go into just some weird, gross, like morphing together and ripping apart kind of stuff. So, I mean, that was kind of cool too. But I really don't like that Dream Child ended with babies being absorbed back into stomachs.
Yeah.
That's
That's
odd.
rough.
It was odd.
Now, did 5 have the pizza souls? Was Freddy eating the pizza with the soul faces on them, the soul pepperoni? Is that 5?
I thought that was 4 for
Either
some
one.
reason.
We're meshing them together.
Yeah,
We're
that's true. It was one of them.
We're
It
doing
was
a
one of them.
hodgepodge.
Yeah.
Same.
So
same
I
thing.
think the technical stuff was really fun in both of these movies. Like, I like the deaths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not, I wouldn't.
Here's the thing about Dream Master and Dream Child. Freddy is getting more and more entertaining, and the movies are getting less and less entertaining.
That's
Actually, that's a
fantastic.
really good way of
Yeah.
putting it. That's a really good way.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. That's a very good way of putting it. Yeah. The story, to even clarify it more, the stories are getting weaker and he's getting stronger.
Yes. Yes.
So they're leaning on him
100%.
too much, kind of thing.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah,
Interesting.
like it's
Darth
just
Vader
all
could-
about Freddy at this point. It's not about like the movie does not matter. They wrote that part down in like 5 minutes, and they just wrote down jokes for Freddy Krueger.
It's basically the Ewok Christmas special.
Well, I likened it if like there was a movie where that was an hour and a half of Darth Vader. It wouldn't work.
Right.
I'd watch that though.
Yeah, we
I
totally
mean, they
watch
made
it.
a
Awesome.
movie that was like an hour and a half of like Chewbacca and his family, and it was the greatest thing in cinematic history.
Was that?
Are you referring to One Crazy Summer?
I'm referring to the greatest piece of cinematic history.
Willow, obviously.
Max looks so genuinely confused.
I don't know either.
I'm confused.
Is there my brain's thinking, is there a Chewbacca movie I've missed?
Oh, the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Oh, yeah. Do you mean the one that Lucas said? And by the way, this is the same George Lucas that was okay with Jar Jar Binks. He said that if he could take a sledgehammer to that movie, he would kill it.
It's like, it's God's gift to the world. Really?
I need to
It's
see
so
this.
bad.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
No.
Oh my God, Max!
I didn't know it existed until we did the Empire Strikes Back pod.
Now I get his joke about it's Chewbacca. You meet Chewbacca's family.
You do?
Oh yeah,
Dude, Lumpy.
It's so bad.
Chewbacca has a family member named Lumpy.
Yeah, it's Max. It's you gotta watch it.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
It's the
really,
greatest.
really bad.
It's okay. It's the most entertaining thing you'll ever watch in your life. I'm leaving it at that.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna watch it.
So it's you clumped 4 and 5 together, which I actually think is a good idea because I think they have the same flavor. I'll tell you something, and I'm not just saying this because this is the last one I watched, so I did these a little bit out of order because I caught the remake and then did Freddy versus Jason before this one. I remember being in the movie theater for Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. I love this one, and quite honestly, if I had to pick my favorite, I'd go Dream Warriors. This might be my second favorite over the original. Like, I really loved this. Now, I qualify that though with, I think the reason I love it so much is I remember seeing it in the theater, and there was just nothing like seeing this movie in the theater.
Was it packed house opening night?
Packed house opening night. Yeah.
How old are you?
I think I was probably 11.
That's awesome.
Yeah, maybe 11 or 12.
How'd you get in? You sneak in?
No, I think my dad must have taken me. My mom never would have gone to see this movie.
Yeah.
So it must have been my dad that took me, but I love this movie.
So you're referring to Freddy's Dead?
Yes.
Okay, so I just pulled up my Letterboxd review of Freddy's Dead because I wanted to see exactly how I felt in the moment. I gave it 2 stars. I gave it a like, though. But I said, I don't even know what to say about this plot, the added storylines to Freddy, young Freddy, or the effects. All I know is that I hate it, but simultaneously love it. Why did Freddy smash a hamster in the middle of his class? Why weren't any of the other 6-year-olds sad or terrified? These are questions that will never have answers. That's the only part of the movie I remember, really. Actually, that's not true. I remember other things, but that's the only part of the movie that stood out to me. Why did none of those kids freak out when he destroyed a hamster with a hammer?
You're asking the wrong question. The bigger question that you should be asking is, how are we not talking about Tom and Roseanne Arnold Barr and their cameo in this movie at the local circus? Do you remember that?
I don't even know who you're talking about.
Oh my God. You know Roseanne Barr?
No.
The show Roseanne.
You don't remember the
Sad
show
couches,
Roseanne?
Oh.
flannel.
Did I care about it? No.
Well, I don't care if he cared about it. But so
Do I know her last name? No, I know her first name was Roseanne.
Okay, so you know Roseanne. Do you remember how there was a guy that was married to her that basically married her just so that he could become an actor as well? Do you remember the movie True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the guy who was his partner that played with him? That's Tom Arnold.
Okay, I'm following now.
Yeah. So that was Roseanne Arnold Barr, whatever her name was. So they're in Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. They go back to Springwood, excuse me. I was thinking of The Simpsons. Springwood, Ohio.
We all knew you were thinking of The Simpsons. We were all wondering where you were going with that.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm back. They go back to the hometown, and there's this insane carnival with no children and a bunch of adults who are seriously mentally ill because of all the murders and deaths that have taken place.
It's pretty weird.
And out of nowhere, this woman grabs the 3 kids and says, "Children, you could be my children." And it's Roseanne freaking Barr. And then Tom Arnold comes in. And this isn't like Johnny Depp's cameo. This is them at the height of their popularity doing a 35-second cameo in this movie. Not to mention Johnny Depp's cameo when he does the "This Is Your Brain on Drugs." If you're my age, Caleb, how old are you, Caleb?
23.
Okay, well, man, you look terrible for 23. So
I know.
if you're my age, I grew up watching those "This Is Your Brain on Drug" commercials, and watching that spoofed in a movie by Freddy was hilarious. The guy, the one kid, ends up being Road Trip. Do you remember the movie Road Trip?
Yeah.
He's done a bunch of movies. Yeah.
It's the guy, we're bringing it full circle with Mark Paul Gosselaar. He was in Franklin and Bash together.
Thank you. So yes,
and now we're Zach to the Future.
Zach to the Future.
And also Alice Cooper was Freddy's dad.
Yeah.
That was kind of wild.
Right?
But
we're returning you on this. We'll get you from 2 stars to 3 stars.
Oh, no, I'm not raising my rating whatsoever. There's nothing you could do that would make
You're
me
dug
raise
in.
it.
Heels are dug in.
The video game part was great.
Yeah.
I really liked the video game part.
I would say entertaining, but again, not great. Like, there's a lot of things in Freddy's Dead. I will say, Freddy's Dead. You said this was supposed to be 3D, right?
Yeah,
It makes
was
so
3D
much
and
sense.
I remember.
It makes so much sense because there's souls flying around and like,
Yeah.
dude. What really made me angry about this was like the flashbacks.
Oh, to
That's
him
it.
playing with his daughter.
Mommy sleeping. That one. Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Oh man, those are great. Those are great. It felt like it was flashing back to an episode of The Wonder Years. It was so much fun.
There's nothing that really stood out in this to me that was like amazing. All that stood out is like, okay, this is the best Nightmare on Elm Street background movie because there's always some insane effects or something outlandish going on the screen that doesn't really matter to me, that I don't really need to pay a lot of attention to. This is the Nightmare that I could put on in the background and I can look at it any given time and I could be like, okay, so Freddy's doing some weird soul stuff again. And I could just keep watching without missing anything.
There were some cute, like the tip of the hat to the Twilight Zone, Freddy on the plane, on the wing of the plane. Stuff
Isn't
at
this the
beginning.
one that started out with him like recreating the Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, this movie sucks. This movie
hearing aid
sucks,
death
dude.
I like.
Now that
I like the hearing
I'm
aid.
like, there's a lot of parts in these that I'm mixing up with the other ones after watching all of them in such a short period of time. But now that I'm remembering exactly which one this is, like, yes, those parts are fun. But I am more than ever firmly standing by my 2-star rating, and I will not go up. But I gave it a like, 2 stars and a like. That's where it's
I
staying.
100% concede that it's just the nostalgia effect that puts this as high as it does for me because I saw it in the theater. 100% concede.
I mean, that's fair.
Does he blow
That's
up in the
fair.
end? Is that what happens?
I think so.
They put a piece of dynamite in him and boom.
I don't know what dynamite is, but dynamite maybe.
Dynamite.
Well, I mean,
I
here-
said dynamite.
You say it, dynamite.
Dynamite. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing, Mo. Here's the thing. I would agree with you based off of that logic, but I saw Jack and Jill in theaters, and I'm not calling it a good movie because of my experience.
Maybe I should have seen Coming to America 2 in theaters. Maybe.
I saw Wild Hogs in theaters.
Oh, great movie.
Is that Travolta?
That's
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen, Travolta, every aged actor out there.
Martin
I
Jordan.
saw
Wilford Brimley.
Avatar in theaters, just like everyone else in the world.
I hate Avatar so much.
Really? I like
Oh,
Avatar.
what, you liked
It's
Avatar?
Dan-
No,
it's
that's
Dances
the
with
real
Wolves.
conversation.
It's the Smurfs, not Dances with Wolves.
It's blue. It's
Dances with
Smurfs
Smurfs.
meat. Yeah.
I don't love Avatar. I like Avatar. I thought it was visually entertaining to
That's
watch.
the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Boo. I don't like that.
Really?
Yeah. It's so
Man.
predictable. You know exactly what's going to happen the entire time.
It doesn't matter. Most of the movies you watch.
Maybe he won't stay with
Remember when
them.
you and I
Maybe
watched
he likes being crippled.
Remember when you and I watched Standing Tall or whatever it was, and I was
Walking
like,
Tall.
Walking Tall. I was like,
Yeah.
here's what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
We still liked it.
Mo, the
Fell
first
asleep.
movie I ever walked out of theaters for or on in. How the fuck? Oh wait.
You walk out of a movie.
You walk into a party.
That's the first movie I ever walked out of.
Was it Avatar?
Was Avatar.
Wow.
You want to know why? You can probably
I do.
guess. It ends
it 'cause you
17
didn't like it?
times. it you know what it does? It fades out to black at least 4 different times before it ends. Like, it does something that sounds like the movie is ending. They're like, wow, we really solved all of that. Everything's good in the world. And then it fades out to black. So I remember getting up, and I actually, here's fun fact, me and Bree, most people on the show already know this, but me and Bree dated in 7th grade. That's how we met each other. And
Cute.
we saw Avatar together, and 3 different times we stood up because we were like, oh, the movie's over. And then it just fade back in, and they'd start doing stuff again where you had to sit back down, physically stand up and sit back down and go, oh, so it's still going. Okay. And then on the 4th time, I was like, no, I'm not sitting back down. I'm leaving. This movie is done.
I don't think it's a great movie. I think it's more watchable than you do. But
I've never finished
You've gone to
it.
the Disney place, haven't you?
I would, yeah, because I'm
There
old,
it
I'm
is.
old and
No,
soft.
yeah, your kids
and
liked it, right?
My kids haven't seen Avatar. That's
No,
not-
they've been to the Avatar Disney World.
No, not
place.
yet.
Okay. I'm trying to explain why you like this terrible
You're helping.
movie.
You're trying to help. It's okay.
There's
Yeah.
no way that any kid today could watch Avatar and like it. I'm confident.
No, they'd have ADD from having the 3D glasses on. They'd freak out.
Even without.
Yeah, it's not. It's
I love that, Jake. He's
Yeah.
so. All right, move on from Avatar.
Yeah,
so
let's
you
get
have
over
some
Avatar.
shred of
This is
respect.
ridiculous. This is so many tangents.
Wes Craven's A New Nightmare.
I am.
You love this.
Yeah, I really like New Nightmare. I feel like it wasn't perfect to me, but it was almost perfect to me. I may be biased because I truly believe that Wes Craven is a genius and can't do wrong, but New Nightmare was like, I feel like it was the perfect bandage to a series that went completely off the rails. Like a series that went off the rails so bad that there was nothing that could possibly save it, but this was like a good little band-aid. Like, you know what? Let's call it even.
like they wipe the slate clean. Basically, they're like, okay, now we're good. Yeah.
I give him mad credit. When you do something like this, it's a huge risk, and I think that deserves respect.
Yeah.
When you take a franchise and you're willing to, because something like this, if taken the wrong way, as much as you might think that the previous two movies, Dream Child and Dream Master and not New Nightmare, Final Nightmare.
What you're saying is this could have been the worst movie in the world easily.
Right. Yeah. And instead, and so like you're taking a risk. So I appreciate the hell out of that. I think it's, and I don't love it, but I like it. And I thought the idea was creative. And now you look at, Max had brought this up before. Are there any other movies that break the fourth wall? And you said we're going to talk about it. Cabin in the Woods. And I use it as an example, not because it broke the fourth wall the same way, but like the idea that there are these like gods watching these horror films that were created. It's just a very meta concept, and it's a risk. And when people take those risks, they can really pay off. And I think both these movies paid off in that way.
I actually can't name a single other meta movie that does it the same way that this. I can't think of a single one. I think that this has been done so many times, even in other movies. Well, obviously he made Scream way later, but well, not way later at all.
2000.
Yeah, no.
6 years.
No, Scream is 96, right?
Yeah, the
96.
first
really?
Scream. Oh yeah, the first Scream. I was in high school.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. Yeah, so not way
time's
later,
wrong.
literally just a couple years later. I don't know why I was thinking way later. But he did, I feel like there were like some similarities in these just in the meta sense, but I also feel like this is way more meta than Scream, which is kind of crazy to me too when I think about it, because I'm like, it almost feels like this should have came after Scream, because it almost feels like Scream should have been like his preparation to making something this meta that turned out this well, but he made it first, and it kind of blows my mind.
Yeah. Again, I just give so much credit to the risk. Whatever you feel about the movie, that he staked the name of the franchise on doing something that this was this unique and different. And again, it was entertaining. It turned out well.
I think it's the best intro scene out of all of them. That like they're playing with the new claw,
right?
And it just takes
so
over.
Good.
Yeah.
It's so
good.
It's so gnarly.
Yeah.
How they do the new claw.
Yeah.
I was blown away.
Oh, the whole thing. I mean, and just the. You got to give, I can't remember the actress's name who plays Nancy. Heather is that her name?
Langenkamp.
Heather, yeah.
Just to give her credit, I'm thinking of Tropic Thunder, I'm playing a guy who's playing a guy. I mean, like that's not easy to do. I mean,
Because
that's
here's
hard.
the thing. It's hard to even explain how this movie works. Like, to be in it, to act it, to write it, to be involved in it in any other way is insane.
Right.
Because if you told me to explain, like, if I'm just walking around, someone was like, "Hey, tell me what the plot of New Nightmare was," I'd be like, I can try. Like, I'll do my best.
Right.
Like when they're reading the script at the end, it blows my mind. It's just like it sent
my
chills on my
God.
spine. I was like, I'm actually like watching a real movie.
Yeah.
Where like they're trying something. It's just a strange feeling. And this is the longest one too. It's an hour 52.
Which is also funny. We didn't talk about that. Oh, I love how all these movies are like an hour.
85 minutes.
Yeah.
Just in and out.
Which I love. That's what I love about this series too, is that none of these movies try to be more than they are, and like
Sure.
even the ones that are terrible, you know what? They're like, I appreciate that they weren't terrible and 30 minutes longer than the previous.
So, and for being short too, if you notice in the opening scene, God, I can't remember which one it was. It may have been.
Hit me. Give me the scene.
It might have been Freddy's Dead, the Final Nightmare, but I just remember like they're rolling the intro credits and there's action going on in the movie. Like like most of the time when you watch a film, the rolling intro credits, there's like maybe some story being told or maybe some light music. This was like full on, like the guy's rolling down the hill and it's like produced by, and so it's not just the fact that it's an hour and a half long. It is like, soup to nuts. It is full action, full the whole time. It's just wild that they do that.
Yeah, I didn't know she was actually married to a stunt coordinator guy too. Then they asked him to be in the movie to like be the guy. He's like, I'm not being that guy.
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah. And they have a kid named Dylan.
From Dutch and Dylan?
No,
different Dylan. Okay.
This Dylan, I didn't like this kid. Well, I mean, I guess you're not supposed to like him. He's like, when he's jumping, like he's reaching for the sun. I'm like, you stupid kid.
Jesus.
I don't know. It's like,
no, you stupid kid. That's good. That's a good drop. Make sure we use that as a drop next time. Joining us next week, Max, the I Hate Kids Sanders. You stupid kid.
Or Robert Englund painting. That's fun.
Yeah.
He's painting madness.
Can Robert Englund ever do anything ever? Like, so, I can't see him as anything other than Freddy Krueger.
He said this is his favorite of the Freddy Krueger movies.
Because he got to be something.
Like an actual person.
That's funny.
Which is actually so insane too, because all he ever does is boast about like how like fine-tuned of a character that Freddy Krueger was. He's like, oh yeah, I did this and this and this for my character, and I tried really hard to fine-tune this. And then he's like, oh yeah, but New Nightmare is my favorite because I'm the exact opposite of Freddy Krueger. Right. I'm like, what? It's all you talk about, dude.
Oh man, that's good.
Oh God.
So
he directed some movies too.
No way, really?
No, I didn't know that.
Any good ones?
I think it was 976 Evil. What is it called again? Let me double check.
876-5309 Evil.
976 Evil. Yeah, he made a couple of these things. I think he made 2 or 3 of these things. But yeah, he directed a movie called 976 Evil.
I'm actually really curious. I'm really curious. So I'm kind of glad we got rid of the remake, because now we really only have to talk about what we'll call the last one, which is Freddy versus Jason. And I was actually really happy when you said you liked it. This is, it's not the best, obviously, but if you're a fan, so I'm rambling. I read an article one time, and I wish more than anything in the world that someone would actually do this. The Expendables. Have you guys seen The Expendables?
No.
Yeah, I don't remember it vividly.
Sly.
Yeah, so basically like
a million people.
Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger, they got all of the action heroes together. I would love nothing more than if they made a version of the Expendables with with Pinhead, with Jason, with Freddy, with Ash from
Candyman.
Yeah, like everything, and did this kind of like ultra movie. This was my.
Isn't that just Stan Helsing?
What is this?
Isn't that just Stan Helsing?
What is Stan Helsing?
It's like, look it up right now. It's like a play on Van Helsing. It's with Kevin from Shameless.
I love Kevin.
Yeah.
Hold on, take a pause.
Shameless just ended, by the way.
Stan.
How was the last season? I'm fully caught up except the last one.
I finished it.
Oh, it's a spoof movie.
It's really good. It's really good. I'm upset. I'm really upset. I really like the way that they ended it. I feel like they didn't tie enough of the loose ends. Like, I feel like there could have been an entire another season or two. Like, there were like enough loose ends at the end of the series that I was like,
well, I hope they tied up Lip, because Lip was left kind of in a way. Like, the last few seasons for Lip have been rough. Oh man, that's a bummer.
Dude, I'd say like halfway, and that's what I really wanted the most too. But I was like,
right?
They like tied it up with him, but not enough. Where I was like, it wasn't. It didn't do it for me. It made me kind of upset.
Did they play on his intelligence at all? He finally like kind of made it in an intelligent way where he got to use his brain, or no? No. Okay.
They kind of like dropped off with the whole college thing after like a few seasons ago and never went back to it. Like he just like he was a genius, and then they were just like, we're bored with the smart thing.
Yeah, he's gonna work on motorcycles.
Yeah, so the Stan Helsing, I just took a look at it, is more of a spoof. I actually would love to see, similar to the Freddy versus Jason. That's like my fantasy film would be to have like an actual horror film. Kind of almost
want like Avengers kind of thing?
If you haven't seen Cabin in the Woods yet, and oh yeah, so like the next evolution of that, right? Like they had the list of all the different things, like bring in all those characters and have like a like a evil versus good, you know, kind of.
So like the elevator scene, but like longer.
Yeah, very much like Avengers Assemble, you know, something like that.
That elevator scene haunts my dreams.
Everything haunts your dreams. You
berating me haunts my dreams.
I am really mean to you.
Well, wait, that's reality.
Oh,
You
easy
jerk.
now. So Freddy versus Jason, I was excited to hear, Caleb, that you like it. For just as a fanboy, I just thought the idea was cool. I loved watching the two of them interact. Freddy stole the show.
Break it down for me. Like, what happened? Why are they both together?
So basically, and you know, actually, I'm not going to do this. Caleb, you want to do it? This is kind of your genre to speak to. You want to give the rundown on the movie? I'm happy to if you don't.
No, I am. So here's the thing. For all the horror fans listening to this, I should address the elephant in the room because otherwise people are going to be pissed. Everyone typically hates this movie because it breaks all of Jason's rules and all of Freddy's rules, and it makes Freddy like scared of fire, Jason afraid of water, but like not even just on a psychological level, like just boiling down to just if they see either one of those things or like, you know, their side of it, that they'll freak out. So everyone kind of hates it because of that. I personally like it for kind of the same reason that Mo was saying. It's two worlds colliding, you know, and it's just kind of like, it's something that you always want to see, but everyone always hates it because everyone did want to see it, and then when it finally happened, they felt really let down. They felt like there was no.
It would
justice.
never live up to the fantasy.
Exactly, and I kind of feel like that's how it's going to go for the most part. There were a bunch of ridiculous things about it, but pretty much, it's kind of hard to explain. Actually, it's not. It's stupid. So Freddy needs to come back, and he needs to kill some kids, as is Freddy tradition.
Fear of Freddy and fear of his existence is what his blood
fuels him.
Fuels him.
Yeah.
So he co-ops Jason to get that.
Exactly. He needs more power, and he just decides, like, he's like, oh, well, you know what? I got into the lore of this guy with a big dude with a machete. I could use him. It really makes no sense, because how would he ever even know that this guy existed? Like, I don't get that whatsoever. But
Consensus evilness.
The whole explanation for it is pretty much just that. In the intro, he's pretty much just narrating. It's Robert Englund just going like, "Hey guys, so I'm not as strong as I used to be. So to get stronger, I found this big old guy." And yeah,
got it.
I'm not unrelated to this specific movie, but related to the Friday the 13th. I'm not a huge Friday the 13th fan, but I've seen a lot of them, and I don't remember which one it was. But I will tell you my favorite scene ever from the Friday the 13th of all the films I've watched.
Hey, it's still Max by myself in the office wearing my Predator shirt, and I have no idea how to segue, so here's the ad.
Buzzn The Tower is brought to you by Capsiva Pain Relieving Gel. And I can tell you that if you're sitting at a table across from a guy who has to go to the bathroom every 25 minutes, you're going to get arthritis, you're going to get muscle soreness, psoriasis. Capsiva is all natural. It's okay. Capsiva is all natural and designed to increase blood flow for the healing and pain relief process. Try it for free at capsiva.com. That's CAPSIVA.com. And you know, Max, I'm an old man and I need this kind of stuff. It works. It's great stuff.
Yeah, it's like Wilford Brimley in Cocoon. You know what I mean? You feel revitalized.
That's exactly what it's like. Buzzn The Tower is also brought to you by Lindsay Larrabee Photography. If you have checked out our website, hopefully you have. You've seen the amazing photos that were put up there. Lindsay,
so good.
Yeah, Lindsay and her team did all of those.
She teased my hair.
She was fun to work with. Just made the whole experience really exciting for us. She has been taking photos of families, children, and smiles in Metro Detroit since 2017. She loves what she does, and it shows. She works with her clients, catches everything in the moment, and adores watching the connections and relationships unfold in front of her lens. If you mention Buzzn The Tower, you get $25 off any family session in 2021. You can find Lindsay on our website under our sponsors page. Check her up and get some work done. She is fantastic.
Yeah, she made us look good. She can make anyone look good.
The question in the Friday the 13th movies versus Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street, he's in this like, you know, dream state plane where it's not like you can call the military to go after him. But in the Friday the 13th movies, the elephant in the room on those movies is, okay, like obviously there is a murderer at this lake. let's go get the military and get bombs and weapons and kill them.
Isn't he undead?
Yeah, well, it's not that he's even undead. He is, and he regenerates a host of different ways. But the bigger part is he can be killed. He's in the real plane. He's
Okay.
existing in the real plane. Like, he's not in your dreams. So everyone who's ever watched these movies has at one point said, okay, when would they just not get a bunch of weapons, call the military? They're one of the Friday the 13th, the opening scene of the movie.
Jason Goes to Hell, if I remember right.
Jason Goes to Hell. That's it. It was my favorite scene from any of them. So it starts off with the co-ed taking the shower,
Obviously.
and you know, like, but it's like almost making fun of that's how it is. And then you hear the no, am I doing that right? Or is that Mike Myers? Now I can't remember.
That's Mike Myers, isn't it?
Yes, thank you. Yeah. It starts off with that, and she, of course, grabs her towel, and she's running through the forest as fast as she can, and he's just slow walking, but he's going to catch up with her, and he gets into this like open space, and all of a sudden, boom, like spotlights open from everywhere, and the military pops out, and they just unload on him. And I was like, this is the best intro to any of these movies ever. I was immediately bought in 100%, and they still found a way to carry the story on. I know this isn't Jason versus Freddy, but it popped into my head. I just thought it was great. I thought it was great.
Yeah, so I'll agree with you with that intro and Jason Going to Hell being one of the better ones, because it makes sense. If you have a creature like that or a giant killer like that, you should just bring the military in and take them out immediately. I see no reason why that doesn't happen in every other movie.
I even settle for the National Guard. They never get past a bumbling sheriff. It's like, hey, we've got a killer. He's taking out 300 kids. Get me Dewey, the bumbling sheriff.
Dude, I'll settle for Paul Blart Mall Cop at this point.
Oh yeah. Oh, what was the Seth Rogen movie where
Observe and Report?
That movie took me for a hot turn. I was not expecting what I saw when I saw that movie. That was a very strange movie. Very strange movie. Yeah.
I will settle for Seth Rogen in Superbad. Like at this point.
Oh God, I love that movie.
Him and Bill Hader.
Oh my God, amazing in that movie. God, that movie is so great.
Devin McLovin. I want a whole movie of that.
God, I love
Devin
that movie.
McLovin just hanging out,
dude.
But yeah,
Matt, wait. I'm sorry, Mo. Go
ahead.
Max, I was just talking to someone about that the other day.
Yeah, that's a whole movie right there. 2.5 hours of them just pulling people over.
No,
taking
5
the drugs.
hours.
What a great buddy cop movie.
It's probably just a documentary. They just put like body cameras on them.
Oh my God.
Body cameras on fictional police officers. Okay.
That'd be amazing.
So anyway, yeah, I agree. That's a really good intro to Jason Goes to Hell. It just sucks that everything after that is easily the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. That's not only my least favorite Jason movie of all time. That's easily one of my least favorite movies of all time.
It's not good. But the intro is amazing. And that's maybe that was such a letdown because it started so strong. And you know, the reason I brought it up is that, again, I think you hit the nail on the head. The downside of the downside of Freddy versus Jason is they made the characters too fallible. You know, what makes these movies great is they're supernatural, right? And so
immovable force, unstoppable object, or whatever it is.
Being afraid of water and being afraid of fire is. But I mean, there's a couple scenes. There's a couple scenes in that movie, like all those bodies that are in dream comas. I mean, they're kind of like creepy, spooky, good scenes.
Dream comas?
Dream comas. They're heavily sedated, like basically like
Inception kind of status.
Yeah, a little bit like Inception, to prevent them from basically dreaming, because this is the way for the town to prevent Freddy from coming back. It's a good movie if you're a fan of either franchise. It's not a good standalone movie on its own. Would you say that that's a fair way to look at it?
We're on Freddy versus Jason now, right?
Freddy versus Jason. Yeah.
I'd say that's kind of fair. I don't know, because here's
What's the best death?
Here's my question about Freddy versus Jason. Like, did they need to include the kids and whatnot? Because here's the whole thing. I feel like there was too much riding on the fact that they needed to explain why Freddy and Jason were fighting, and the explanation sucked anyway. So I feel like at that point,
right,
the kids and everything involved, like, you know, them getting the hypnocil and everything else, like them breaking into the hospital to get it and like to fight back against Freddy. I feel like that was all like all of that was way less important than Freddy fighting Jason. But what we got was a lot of that, and then a little bit of Freddy fighting Jason, and then there was also too many limitations on what they could do and what they couldn't do, like to end the fight, instead of the filmmakers just focusing on them actually fighting and doing what people wanted to see.
I think I get what you're saying. You bought tickets to the heavyweight championship boxing match, and there were too many matches before.
Yeah.
You didn't show up to that fight to watch, some local kid.
And then the main event
right? Like you
was
wanted
15 minutes long.
You got it. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I mean, I go back to the whole risk taking aspect of it. Like the reason that I thought Wes Craven's Nightmare, I give them credit because it's a bold move. You don't see two historic franchises be brought together like that.
Was this before Alien vs. Predator or after?
Yeah, this is way before.
Okay.
Right? I mean, this is 2003.
I don't know. I almost said New Nightmare was way before Scream earlier, which I had to take back immediately.
And then I gave a random date because I do that stuff sometimes.
Tourette's.
I just want to fill dead air.
Alien vs. Predator. Yeah, Alien vs. Predator is 2004. Wait.
So it's only a year before. Yeah.
Freddy vs. Jason was, I was going to say, I thought it was 2002, but yeah, 2003.
Yeah. So way before, like I said.
Way before?
Way before. Dude, did we just rip through the entire Nightmare on Elm Street catalog?
Yeah, and we only partially finished because you guys have a
new one coming
tradition. Kind of. Not a tradition, but you have this is an extra series kind of thing where you recast.
Do you have some options?
Oh, were we? I didn't know we were casting. Are we recasting?
Oh, I thought we were.
Oh, Jesus. We did you prepare for a recast?
No. Let's off the top of the
This
head.
is even
Let's
better.
do it.
Well, we only really need to recast one character.
No, you want
I have
to recast Glenn?
I have a few different ones, but I didn't care. I didn't know how many you guys were.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I was not prepared for that, but I've always got some recasting in the tank. Let's dance. What do we got?
We sprinkled
Nervous.
the remake back and forth, and we hinted about how, for some reason, Mo likes it. And we talked a little bit briefly, and to be fair, we didn't solidify a lot for this, and we did say that we were going to watch like 8 movies in like a week. So we were.
I think we did good. I'm impressed.
We were already doing a lot. So I did a brief recasting thing in tradition of Buzzn The Tower. I think you guys do
All
really
right.
cool
I love
segments
this.
where they recast people. I'd listen to the Star Wars episode, and you did make a choice that I don't agree with, Mo.
I feel like you and Caleb would do much better. You guys are more in line.
We're in stage aim range.
There's disappointment in Caleb's voice. I can always tell when you're going to talk about one of my picks when you start off. Now on this pick, Mo, just
Look,
I don't want to say you're an idiot, but you're an idiot.
I'm not mad. I'm
Just disappointed.
Just disappointed. Don't you dad disappoint me. Who struck you as off on recasting The Empire Strikes Back, which you can check out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify at Buzzn The Tower. Continue. I'm sorry.
So you picked the wrong Russell, and it really rubbed me the wrong way.
Who's the other Kurt? Which one? Kurt Russell? Who's the other Russell? Wyatt Russell?
The one with wings.
The one with wings. Yeah, I'm so lost.
I'm so lost.
You speak in haikus once in a while.
I like it because I like being lost, but wings, Russell with wings. Russell Crowe.
Oh.
Crowe.
Is that it?
Yeah, of
No,
course it
this
is.
is it.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
So here's this tricky thing about Russell Crowe. When you
care.
do a recast, fair. well put, Caleb. Moving right along. When you do a recast, you have to pick actors from the 80s to recast in those movies. Russell Crowe, tell me what he was in the 80s.
Who?
Russell
Cares.
Crowe, tell me what movie. Who Cares the movie? It's a great movie. Is that the Care Bears Part 3? Who cares?
Okay, hold
But
on.
Caleb, tell me.
Hold on.
Caleb, tell me you love Virtuosity. Please tell me you love it.
So on my other show, Scream, that I
Yes,
host
you
with
do.
Ash and Elena from Morbid, we
Yeah.
were covering. Well, we have different stories for this. We were covering. I say we were covering Virtuosity. They say we were covering Scream. And when we went onto the recording, I said, I am so excited to talk about virtuosity. How stoked are you guys? And they were like, we just watched like Scream, and I was like Drew Barrymore, Wes Craven, like Neve Campbell, like that, because I just watched a Russell Crowe like masterpiece.
Yeah, Sid 6.7.
Yeah,
let's go.
And then we did an episode where they talked about Scream, and I just compared Scream to Virtuosity because we watched different movies and we didn't have time to move back and reschedule.
Course correct. Yeah.
How the Wife and Kid, Caleb?
So what-
Still dead?
What I'm saying is Virtuosity is one of the greatest movies I've ever seen.
Yes! It's so good. Have you seen it?
I've not seen it.
It's Denzel Washington as a one-armed cop taking on
Russell
Crowe
in virtual
as
reality.
a virtual reality super killer who has the 200 biggest serial killers in the world in his brain.
Nice.
And they're all fighting for supremacy. And
I will have to take a look.
And the main serial killer that killed Denzel Washington's wife and kid is oozing to the surface because he sees him and he only wants to play with Denzel Washington. It's so good.
You are riled
Remember
up about
that
this.
scene where Denzel Washington is like, no, dude, I know that he's in there, referring to like the killer of his wife, and they're like, no, he's not. And then Russell just kind of drives by and he like winks at him.
Yeah, dude, that movie's fantastic. Or the Scream opera. Remember that? He makes an opera with people's screams. Or he eats glass to come. I'm so excited. I'm sorry.
It's so
I haven't
good.
talked about Virtuosity with anybody in my entire life. I'm just hoping for it's the
Wait,
best.
well, that was my issue too, and I was
Kelly Lynch is the girl.
I didn't have anyone to talk about it with, and then I went on and they watched a completely different movie, so I still never talked about it after writing notes and being excited about talking about it.
I'm excited to watch the movie and then catch your guys' follow-up podcast, Virtuosity, a Max and Caleb production.
No, it's just gonna be 1 minute of virtuosity for 137 episodes.
Excellent.
We can do it.
Oh no, Virtuosity was also in the 90s. I have a question real quick, and then we'll get right to this and we won't tangent anymore. Have you seen The Lawnmower Man?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We talk about that movie all the time.
We just talked about it 5 minutes beforehand.
Yeah,
Did you?
I go, look, I'm Lawnmower Man, and Mo goes, will you knock it off?
Because he was licking his spoon like a weirdo.
Yeah.
God, it is the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, Lawnmower Man's great.
Lawnmower Man 2 rules too.
Easy now. Easy.
Maybe
I like the effects.
I don't agree with that.
Rules is a strong word. It's not garbage, but it's not
His
far
like
from
gold
garbage.
outfit is cool.
Tangent aside, to your original Russell Crowe remark and to you shutting down my comment, as Max will tell you, I make a lot of rules for recasting. You got to have someone who had a significant career in the decade that we're using to recast, which is the 80s. Although, take that aside, I agree with you on Russell Crowe. I would have used him if he had been in any significant movies in the 80s. I would have done it.
So who's Freddy? Who do you think? Who would you put as Freddy?
He was in Rafferty's Rules in 1987.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Look, man, I'm just going by the rules.
so who do you? Let's not. Freddy's got to be how we finish. Who else did you recast outside of Freddy?
Okay, so I started with him, but that's probably a good point. Well, I can't get to my second person either because it kind of plays off of him. Okay, this is a good segue because it goes with what we were talking about. I think Rooney Mara as Nancy, I think she should have been replaced with Russell Crowe. I think, hear me out. I think
Australian fight.
I really think that we need a different take on our final girl, and this time the final girl needs to be a man named Russell Crowe.
I love it. Like, are we talking South Park Russell Crowe? Because I think that would be perfect.
Well, yeah, I mean, fighting around the world. I mean,
Yeah.
fighting around the world. And also, I have a question for you, Max. Did you call Russell Crowe Australian?
Isn't he?
You're like the third person I've had to break this to, champ.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is he?
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Right? Yeah.
Oh,
I think
man.
the Aussies are going to be very mad at you for that.
I'll talk to them. I don't know if you. I don't bring this up often. I actually lived in Australia for a short period of time.
You bring it up all the time.
Not on the pod. You never let me. We always edit it out. Well, so it's interesting when you first get to Australia, it is virtually impossible to distinguish the difference in the two accents. And when you leave, if you stay for over a month, you can hear the difference. It's incredibly a sharper difference. That and probably an English accent as well. It's a pretty sharp distinction. But you're right. New Zealanders, Kiwis take offense to being called Australians the same way that I wouldn't want to be called a Canadian. Although I do love Canadians, I wouldn't want to be called one.
They're called Kiwis?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, the All Blacks, their rugby team is like all black jerseys. It's a pretty good rivalry. It's actually probably a little more intense than America-Canada.
It's like Michigan, Ohio State.
Not that intense, no.
This is all. I have
so
no idea
other
what the
than
hell
Russell
you're talking
Crowe,
about right now.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's tangent. Other than Russell Crowe playing every single role in your remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street, which I assume you're going to be calling A Nightmare on Russell Crowe Street.
Look, here's the thing. I was starting out with other people. Russell Crowe was not supposed to be the first one I mentioned. You gave me a role, and I abided, and I ended up on Russell Crowe first because of that.
Fair. Max, Nancy, who do you got?
Nancy. Strong, good looking.
Russell Crowe.
Ice cream.
Great accent.
Is it too weird if you do Jamie Lee Curtis? Because she's the Halloween chick?
No, I don't think so.
In this world, are you swapping her? Like, are you getting rid of her in Halloween and making her the star of this? Or is she, like, just
Boy,
a scream
what a
queen in
good
both?
element to add to our recast, that if you choose someone, it pulls them out of the other
It
roles.
sucks them out.
Yeah.
It's just Back to the Future.
Not, like, out of anything, but if it's a significant thing, like, these are two big horror franchises, can she be in both?
I'd stay away from Jamie Lee Curtis.
Stay away from her? Okay,
Yeah.
fine. I wouldn't stay away from her.
I know.
Meow. But, I don't know. Kelly Lynch. What about Kelly Lynch?
Yeah.
That's the girl from Virtuosity, by the way, with the short hair.
Oh,
Doesn't look
she
the same.
was in that, wasn't she?
She is. I know. It all ties in. It's all Virtuosity.
See, to me, this is a no-brainer. Leah Thompson.
That's what I thought at first. Yeah.
I just like similar look, similar like like pretty but not over the top pretty. I would go Leah Thompson for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I like that.
What's Caleb? Who you got for Nancy?
I already did. I started.
Sorry, Russell Crowe. I apologize.
Okay, should we move on to the next one?
Yeah. Who's your next character that you would like to recast?
There's Katie Cassidy as Chris Fowles. And I do really like Katie Cassidy. I want to start off by saying that. She's in Arrow. She plays Laurel in Arrow. And top tier. She died, but, that sucks. I think she should have been played Kris Jenner.
This is good.
That's good.
Kris Jenner. Huh?
There you go.
Remember when she met with him at the diner in the beginning?
Yeah.
That's Kris Jenner standing in front of him while he's floating.
Oh no kidding. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, well, in my world, make it Kris Jenner.
All right.
Say Blake Lively.
Blake Lively.
Ryan Reynolds'
Yeah,
wife.
no, I know who she is.
Yeah. She's been in like Scream stuff before.
Yeah.
Like 47 meters down or up.
I'm just
So
or sideways.
are you picking from the 80s?
No, this is 2010, right? Katie Cassidy?
Well, I know, but I'm so used to just always picking actresses from the 80s. Like I'm thinking but you're thinking current day actresses.
Well, for this one, because, this is 2010.
Yeah, all right, current day.
I went by your rules for this one. I took the Mo way.
Oh, I got it. Rosie O'Donnell.
There you go.
Oh, I like that. We're going.
Yeah.
We're getting somewhere now.
She'd be funny. Yeah. She's got attitude.
Yeah.
I like this.
Who do I?
Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, bro. Julia Dreyfus. I can't say her name.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Thank you.
She's like
Yeah.
50.
Yeah.
She's a 50-year-old teenager
I like it.
with a teenage
You know
boyfriend.
I have trouble with this because I'm going back to the 80s.
Oh, you're going back to the 80s. Okay.
Yeah, man. Sometimes you gotta switch stuff up.
I mean, Russell Crowe's still available.
He was arguing my point. Not
That's
your
good.
point.
It's good.
Look, Russell Crowe's doing
go
great
lip.
things nowadays. Did you guys see Unhinged?
I hear it's incredible.
It's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's literally just Russell Crowe living his actual life, but on screen.
It's just him road raging for 2 hours, right?
Yeah, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay.
Who's your next victim?
Okay, so next up we have Thomas Dekker as Jesse Braun. He was also in Jennifer's Body. He's been in some weird little roles. I don't know if you guys remember him very well. He was like the kind of nerdy looking
He was
dude.
the emo boy.
Yeah. Pretty
Yeah.
much the emo boy. That's what he always is.
He tipped the waitress really poorly. He like put down $12 with like some pennies, and I was like, "Screw you, man! You're not tipping the waitress."
Was
enough.
that didn't he tip more though? Wasn't it his friends that like didn't tip and then he tipped more?
Maybe, but he threw it down in such an arrogant way. I just got annoyed.
Oh, when he's like walking off, yeah, because he was still being kind of rude to her.
Yeah.
I get
I
you.
mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a bartender,
I
man.
love
That's
when
what
you, I
figure.
just love when you say that. You do it every episode at least one time. You're like, yeah.
My Falcor, yeah. Yeah. Okay, 2010. Chris Hemsworth could be fun. No, he's too good looking and too muscular. And Thor wouldn't die.
I definitely do want you guys to go first on this one because I feel like you might get the perfect one. I already found the perfect one.
Okay. Miles Teller.
It's not it, but keep going.
Um,
No, not you. That's fine. You gave your answer. I'm not telling you to change your answer for me.
Are you ready for mine?
Yeah.
Nick Jonas.
That's okay.
that's tasty.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
He's good.
Yeah.
You're getting
You
there.
seen him in Kingdom?
I have.
Yeah.
I like Nick Jonas. I'm a fan.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's got that Children of the Corn kind of dead eyes to him a little bit, too. A little pasty.
Max, I have no idea who the hell you're talking about. Mo, you got close. But here's the thing, guys. Pete Wentz.
Oh,
All
Fall
right.
Out Boy.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah.
I freaking like that. Can he act? Has he done anything acting-wise?
Yeah, he's done music videos at least.
Music videos. That's what a cop out. Wasn't he in that band?
Fall Out Boy.
No.
Yeah.
What was it? Deccan?
Dude, he's in
No.
Fall Out Boy. If we're going to talk about a band he's in, we're not talking about something called
No. It
Deccan.
was. Didn't they do that song? Dream Warrior.
You had to bring it
Great.
back.
Sorry, I'm
I
sorry.
should have known we were going there. I feel like a fool.
I have 2 Fall Out Boy tattoos, by the way. So
Do you really?
shout out Fall Out Boy.
Do
Yeah.
you have Pete Wentz's face on your face?
No, I got
Leave my podcast.
I got Sugar. We're going down swinging on swinging
with Patrick Swayze.
with Adventure Time. I got
complex, cock it and pull it.
never. I give up.
Statistically,
Statistically,
everything that you say, there is a 20% chance that Max has a tattoo of it. You can say potato, and he probably has a potato tattoo.
I have a Wookiee cookie.
There you go.
I don't have a potato.
Welcome to the Rock.
A Wookiee
cookie.
Yeah, it's a Wookiee cookie and a Han Solo cup. It's like a
I like this.
Yeah, most tattoos are puns.
All right,
Yeah.
get your yes. See, now he's gonna do. Get your focus. Get your focus.
Okay.
Who's our next recaster?
Okay. We're nearly done. We only have a couple more before we get to Freddy. Clancy Brown. And I want to say, Clancy Brown, I love him. I don't know why he was in this movie.
No, there's no reason for it.
It made no sense to me, but it's fine.
He's the bad guy from Highlander.
Oh, I know who he is. He's
Yeah.
also the bad guy from Shawshank Redemption. He's the guard.
Yeah.
And not only that, he's in everything.
Yeah.
He is in a lot. He is in a lot. You know, I got a good one for him.
Okay, go.
Harrison Ford. Great gray beard Harrison Ford.
Grumpy, kind of
What is
upset.
wrong with you?
I don't know. He's more of a hero though. And
No, but that's why I like that. I like switching it up.
It's gotta
I
be
hate
someone
that.
villainous.
Whatever.
Hold on, I can't think of anybody.
Alan Rickman.
Alfred Molina,
Again, you're lost with me.
Doc Ock. He's Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2.
Oh!
Yeah.
No!
He's also the creepy guy from Boogie Nights with the little Asian guy with firecrackers.
Oh, for a minute I was thinking, Dirk, you look so good.
You both lost it, dude.
Who you got?
It's Fred Gwynn, Judd from Pet Sematary.
Oh yeah, big guy, big huge jaw, big head. You'll the minute you see him, you'll know exactly who he is.
Oh yeah, I do know him.
Yeah, that's a good call. That's a really good call.
It's like a dad mixed with Frankenstein.
Yeah. No, but
Sometimes
that's perfect.
dead is better.
Pet Cemetery is terrifying.
You don't want to go walking over there, see?
When oh my god, South Park. God, I love South Park. Well, the Achilles cut on the leg. Oh god, that gives me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it. All right, who's your next character? I'm excited to get to Freddy. Who's your next character?
Okay, let's speed through this. We have Kallan. It's probably just Kellen. Lutz as Dean Russell. I would have preferred Caleb Kreischer, which is Wade from Butt Crack.
Wait, which movie is this? I'm getting lost.
We're moving too quick.
Dean
We're moving
Russell?
way too quick.
Who's Dean Russell?
Kellen Lutz.
Kellen Lutz?
Yeah.
I don't know who that is anymore.
Come on, Max, pull it together.
Is this in the new movies? Okay.
Yeah,
That was in the remake, but and then this is the other side of it. The lead role in Butt Crack. I want him to be Dean.
Oh man, I'm going Tom Holland.
That's pretty good.
Look at that. Look at that DVD.
I'm gonna go Michael B. Jordan.
All right.
Yeah,
That's different.
that's some color.
Neither of them are in Butt Crack, the movie, but it's okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even care about this character that much.
You just wanted to hold up Butt Crack, the movie. I got you. I saw where you
What's
were coming from.
Crack the movie about?
I talked to our man. He's got the DVD.
That's what I'm asking. Oh, I don't.
I'm guessing it's about Butt Crack.
Is it an evil butt crack? Is it a haunted butt crack?
Oh, haunted Butt Crack. That's an elevator pitch waiting to happen.
Yeah.
It is a film by Troma Entertainment. It is written and directed by a beautiful man named Jim Larson. I once got him on a phone call and talked to him for about 2 or 3 minutes, but Hawaii started exploding and I couldn't talk to him.
Butt cracks aside, let's
keep talking about butt cracks.
No, we're not going to keep talking about butt cracks.
Fun to say.
I know.
I don't get to say it enough.
Cracks, butt
Good
cracks.
Lord. Let's get to the big guy. Let's talk Freddy Krueger. Let's talk who we're gonna recast in his place from that era.
Okay. I actually just remembered too that I did skip one other person because I was waiting to do the Freddy Krueger one. So just so you guys know, it's
a package deal. That's fair. It's a package deal.
Yeah, I had to put it together with the other one. Okay, so I'm gonna start off. Tobey Maguire, obviously.
It's pretty good.
It's so dark and weird.
I picture like Spider-Man 3 emo him kind of fooling around doing like the weird dances while like people die in front of him.
I'm just hoping that the writers and directors would kind of like fix it up a little bit and make it like less creepy in the most disgusting way, like they did in the original, and they'd be like, you know what, Toby, we're gonna tone it down a little bit for you, bud.
I just so we're clear, I have the answer to this, but are you going to do your second pick as well, or you want to go through Freddy first and then go?
No, let's do Freddy first. You guys do your thing.
Max, who you got for Freddy?
James Earl Jones.
Just the voice or the entire?
Yeah. No, the body too. I want him kind of like schluppy and big.
I've got it.
Welcome to prime time.
These are cute. I'm gonna give you the right answer now.
What?
In honor of our episode that released today, Game of Thrones 80s edition, I'm going with
Peter Dinklage?
Jack Gleason Joffrey.
He's like 13.
No, not now.
What's he look like now?
He looks like he could be Freddy Krueger. He looks like a horrifying version of Joffrey, an old teenage version of Joffrey.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not blowing my skirt up.
Well, then maybe you need to wear a looser skirt.
And that's our new catch line.
Oh God! All right, who did you package? I'm curious, Caleb. Who did you hold over to go with Toby?
Game of Thrones sucks.
Oh, boo, boo, boo you, sir. Boo
Shame,
you. Shame.
The Goonies sucks too.
Oh man, who do you got? Who'd you hold over with Tobey Maguire?
Hey, who's attached?
I held off because, okay, there is Kyle Gallner, whatever, as Quentin Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I think he should have been played by Michael Cera.
That's actually kind of good.
Yeah.
Mainly, it's because Michael Cera played Tobey Maguire in Molly's Game, and I feel like this connection will bring them closer, and they'll be able to bring this movie out of hell.
I can see it. And Scott, I got some Scott Pilgrim vibes too. Like he's been dumped. You know what I mean? Like he's kind of aware of the ridiculousness of what's going on. He could just be Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, we could do that. Can we just make the remake Scott Pilgrim?
Scott Pilgrim. There you go.
You can't do not remake Perfection. That's my second favorite movie of all time.
Lord, calm down.
Second favorite of all time?
Second favorite. Shawshank is number 1. We've actually talked about 2 of my favorite movies ever.
There you go.
So
Exciting
go
day
from
for Max.
Shawshank right to Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah, I like dessert after my, steak dinner. You know what I mean? Like I like to switch it up.
It's a good comparison, actually.
Yeah.
Oh my
What's your
Lord.
favorite movie, Caleb? Actually, I want to know.
The Dark Crystal.
Oh yeah, we did talk. Wow,
That's all right.
sorry.
Max is never actually listening to you. He's
No, I
listening to
was.
himself.
I mean, he's actually. I
Max,
partied hard in my 20s.
Who are you picking? Who are you throwing in there, Max?
For James Earl Jones. That's
Really?
it. Yeah.
Oh, I guess I wasn't listening either.
Oh.
We're not on James Earl Jones anymore.
Oh, for
Thank you, Max.
Yeah.
Come on, catch up.
okay. For Quentin.
Quinn from the boat in Jaws.
So 2010, kind of heartthrobby. Jonathan
Quinn
Taylor
from How I Met
Thomas.
Your Mother.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yeah. Like young Jonathan, like 90s Jonathan Taylor Thomas with the middle part. Or the guy who played Sean Hunter.
You're getting 2010.
Yeah,
I know.
We're talking 2010. I'm going Keanu Reeves.
He's like 50.
I know. Not in 2010. He's like 40.
He gets older as we go back.
Keanu Reeves is ageless.
Do you have age dyslexia?
Yes.
Like you just don't understand what age is?
Look, I didn't have time. I didn't prepare for this. I'm picking people I want to see in the movie,
Yeah.
and there it is. You have it.
Jason
I would
Momoa.
actually vomit if Keanu Reeves played Quentin.
Old John Travolta.
I would still
Nick
vomit.
Cage.
Nick Cage.
Nick Cage
Yes.
in like a young mask.
Yes.
Joe Pesci.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Danny
Oh,
DeVito.
jeez, Freddy, what are you doing? Oh, Freddy, I get no respect. Get out of my dreams.
Rodney as Freddy.
Rodney is Freddy.
That could work.
Oh, man. Hey, it's prime time. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
It works.
Oh, well, Caleb, you now have joined our bigger tradition. Recasting is one tradition, but the wheels falling off at the end of our podcast, that's really the hallmark of a good Buzzn The Tower podcast.
Well, Caleb's good. His wheels fall off from the beginning.
Oh, this guy, shots fired.
Yeah, you acting like there were wheels on this podcast for any second of it.
This is a Fred Flintstone foot go thingy.
Foot go. Foot go fast. Max like foot go fast. Oh, man. Caleb, dude, this was great. Thank you so much for asking us to come on the show. We had an absolute blast.
This has been swell. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for reaching out and whatnot. This was a very fun experience.
Us too, man. And it will be the first of many times that we get Max and you guys together for your bromance to blossom. I don't want to stand in the way of true love.
Don't talk about our calls, Caleb.
My wedge.
We are in love.
And just to the fans of Horse Soup out there that are listening, just a quick note. If you got a problem with Caleb and you want to throw something up on his reviews, just feel free to reach out to Buzzn The Tower. We like to interface with people. And
Yeah, we
have
got his
words.
back, bro.
And really, I'm always looking for an excuse to go to jail for a petty crime. So this will be great for us. And if you enjoyed listening to Max, probably not me, at Buzzn The Tower, social media, and our podcast, and Horse Soup is the definitive voice on horror films in the space. I got no one better out there who does it,
And yet he doesn't make soup.
which is weird.
I know.
Super weird.
Well, there is no good way to segue into this, so let's just do it. It's time for the Buzzn The Tower guest spotlight. Today's spotlight is from one of our oldest podcast buddies. I love their podcast, which has the best name ever. It's the 80s Movie Montage Podcast. You can find them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and they have such a passion for 80s movies and their glorious montages. I mean, I just love a good montage. Who doesn't? Real genius, tons of montages, studying montages even. And they have a joy about their love of movies that's just infectious. I especially love their Back to the Future and Real Genius episodes, obviously. Also, check out their glorious Instagram page at 80s Montage Pod. That's 80s, you spell it with numbers, not letters. 80s Montage Pod. So let's see what they had to say about their favorite Freddy Krueger movie.
Hi, this is Anna
And this is Derek.
with 80s Movie Montage, and we are here with our favorite Freddy Krueger movie pick.
What is it?
Well, call us boring or call us purists. Either way, we're going to go with the original.
The original, A Nightmare on Elm Street. I do give some honors to A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3
Okay.
because I enjoyed the Dream Warriors concept.
Little runner-up
Yeah,
to our favorite.
exactly.
I could get on board with that. I mean, I don't know how you beat the original. It introduces this amazing character that has now lived with us for 30 plus years. And it's also the film debut of Johnny Depp. So there you go.
It's tough to beat that.
Tough to beat.
All right.
So that, again, is our favorite Freddy Krueger movie pick. And this is Anna
And this is Derek.
from 80s Movie Montage.
You can't go wrong with one. That's so classic. The melting stairs, the synth music. Johnny Depp in it is always jarring. You're like, oh my God, he's in this. And then, the blood smoothie of him on the ceiling. My goodness. What a fun movie. It really sucked me in. It got me excited about the rest of the series. And I knew I was going to enjoy them all. So, this is a great pick. And Dream Warriors, Dream Warriors is not in your top 3, just get out of here. I weirdly like 4 more than most people, and 2 I kind of like a lot. But 1 and 3, unequivocally the best ones. So they did a good job. Thank you so much, Derek and Anna, for coming on. I mean, we couldn't be happier. And I'm so glad I am wrapping up as a solo artist. I am meant to be a duo. I'm kind of a Dan Aykroyd to Chevy Chase. I need someone else. I guess Dan Aykroyd starred in some movies, but he's always better kind of accompanying someone like a John Candy or in Ghostbusters, or he kind of needs someone to bounce off of, or Belushi. Like, I feel like I'm the Dan Aykroyd of the show, and Mo's the Chevy Chase because he's kind of the smart aleck and he's kind of the leader of the group and can carry a movie by himself. So I will be so thankful next week when Mo comes in and can just swaddle me with his voice. So thanks for listening, everybody. Love you all. Stay safe out there.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.